Hello, good morning. This is Paul Lennon, your preacher man, and I'll be talking about the miraculous draft of fishes and the importance of being Peter. Good friends, and those of you who follow my tapes, thanks for looking in on me today here in Guatemala. Um, I've just taped the Spanish language one for this Sunday, which goes out on a small local channel here in Guatemala City. And I couldn't stop myself from saying something in English about this particular Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 5, verses 1 to 11, which I prepare every Sunday according to the masses and so forth. But as you know, I live in Guatemala. Guatemala is a country which is traditionally Catholic, but what was I saying here? Uh, it's a country that has been gradually overtaken by evangelical churches and groups. So, in my homily, I thought it was important to underline, or at least to talk about Peter, Saint Peter, who is so important for Catholics and who other Christians, we know, may not think of so highly, and especially the so-called Protestant churches, because of the controversy about Peter being, the vicar of Christ, and et cetera, head of the Roman Catholic Church. But what I wanted to say is just thinking about the gospel, everybody's pretty familiar with that, what happens. Jesus goes down to the seashore, actually to the lakeshore, and he gets in one of the boats and starts preaching to the people. Apparently, his preaching is marvelous. People are uh, just entranced by his preaching. I would say that Jesus then finishes after his preaching. We don't know how long it took. He might have been a little bit tired. Let's go across. Let's take off. Let's get away from the people. Just the few of us here in Simon's boat. And he says to a fisherman, why don't you, start fishing, might catch something. He says to them, because they've been obliging to him, and Jesus wants to be nice to them too. And so we know about this, Simon, excuse me. Simon says, Lord, we've, Senor, Mr., Sir, Teacher, Master, Rabbi, we've been fishing all night and we haven't caught anything. So he was about to say buzz off, but then he said, but in your name, respectfully, you're a great preacher. I'm going to, throw down the nets, see what happens. We know what happens then. The miraculous draft of fishes. They couldn't, their little boats couldn't take in the draft. They asked the other, their friends, it's Simon and Andrew. And then there's the other two fellas. What's the names? James, right? John and James. Okay. I'm still thinking in Spanish. The sons of Zebedee. Anyway, they come in, and then Peter says, oh, he becomes overwhelmed by the miracle. Lord, oh, forgive me, Lord, I'm such a sinner, etc., etc. And so just wanted to kind of focus on this Simon guy now. Um, he is a realist. So we know he's a realist. Hey, we've been out all night. We haven't got a thing. Okay. No, he doesn't take, take, what do they say? Suffer fools lightly. But anyway, then he for some reason, he trusts Jesus, or perhaps he's polite enough to, to try the nets again. And very impetuous and passionate kind of a person. But he is open to awe, as you say. They were awestruck. The Bible of Jerusalem just told me today. They were awestruck. That's the special word. Okay. And I was saying to the folks, as I say in Spanish, that the evangelist, St. Luke, kind of lets the cat out of the bag, because at this point, he says, then Simon Peter, you know, if you read the text, he kind of Simon Peter, then etc. Where is it? In case you don't believe me, and I'm quoting scriptures and all that kind of thing. I can't see where is. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at the knees of Jesus, saying, "Leave me, Lord. I am a sinful man." Okay, now he stepped up a little bit from the rabbi to Lord here. But then Luke is first time I think he says this. He uses the name Peter. Simon Peter saw this. He fell on his knees. So very impetuous, dramatic. My kind of a guy. But the important thing for us, as Catholics, would be to look at that very carefully. Where does this Peter thing come from? And it'll be repeated in the other instances of this in the gospel. So I'm not asking for your full allegiance at this moment to the Catholic Church, but but there is a thing that kind of slips out, the Peter. So here is this. We've just said no, and I like this very much. This guy Simon, son, but his proper name is Simon Bar Jonas, Hebrew, I'm assuming. Uh, Simon, the son of Jonah, is his regular name. Now, he is a realist who say, "Sir, we haven't caught a single fish all night, so we're kind of tired. We might be a little bit frustrated now with you asking us to, throw down the nets, cast the nets again." And okay, he is, but some kind of, at least he's respectful towards the young rabbi. He is impetuous and passionate. And we'll see in very other areas that he's a fickle person. He's very fickle. And how did he get the name Peter? Okay, so this is going to be in the Greek, of course, as you know, petros, I think it will be, and we then all the other languages then come from there. The Piotr and the Pedro and the Per, as the Catalans I think say. Um, So it's all petros. That's what we have in the Greek. Um, and why did this fickle person, this unstable person, get the name of Petros? Stone, okay. Rock. What else could it be? Uh, Foundation. Solid. So here, fickle is given the name of solid, and we know later on in the Gospels that Jesus is the one who changes his name, gives him the name change, uh, which kind of says you're going to have a new personality now because you're going to be part of my work, of my foundation. And so this is a little lesson for today about the importance of being Peter. How did this fickle fisherman get the name of being a rock? A rock. This guy is a rock now. He's a foundation. He's solid instead of being, you know, fickle and soft, you might say, flexible, unstable. I hate to use these words, but that's what it seems to be from what we read about him later on all over in the Gospels. In the four Gospels. But he shows here that he has some leadership qualities. We say he has some leadership qualities, and therefore our Jesus will eventually will during the course of his life of his short ministry. Jesus will change this guy's name. He will give him his own. He'll give him his nickname, which then for Catholics will become more and more important. And also for the early Christians, people will look up to Peter and the beginning of church history too. Peter will be important, and Rome will be called the seat of Peter in the first centuries of the church, before the separation of the Oriental churches and before the Reformation. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Have a good week. And also, I like this part about that they were astonished. They were in awe when they saw this miracle. It would be nice if we could experience a little bit of that awe, that wonderment that is actually the experience of God. And not saying I had it. I want to presume here, but I wish it for all of you. If you had this moment of awe in the presence of God, sometimes it happens in nature, sunset, sunrise, some wonderful thing that happens. Maybe the birth of a baby. Sometimes we're struck with awe, and that's very close to the religious experience. It's wonderful.